Hi, I'm Johnny, and this is Comics Altruism. This is my entry into Fishin Freaks Comics Road to 100 subscriber contest, and I'll leave the link to this below even though I'm getting it right under the wire as I usually do. I have been working on this one for a little while actually, so there is a reason that I'm pretty much late getting this submitted. So I'll leave the link just in case you're the creative type and you can come up with something super quick. What he's asked us to do is to make up, off the top of our heads, a brand new creation of our own female superhero or supervillain team consisting of a minimum of 6 characters. And he wants their names, he wants their the city that they either protect or wreak havoc on, he wants their powers, and I feel like that's it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now my team name, and I've got 2 teams, I hope that's okay. One of them is a superhero team, one of them is a supervillain team, because I felt like there should be a little conflict, that there should be a story going on here. So my superhero team name is the Elements, not the Elementals, the Elements. And the first one is Nitro Jen. And Nitro Jen, you'd think that I might go with the nitroglycerin properties or maybe even NH3 because fixed nitrogen is necessary for fertile soil. So she could have poison ivy type powers, or she could be like Nuke with the nitroglycerin. However, I've chosen to kind of take it with the automobile, like a shot of nitro in the gas tank or whatever. So she's super fast. She's like the Flash. So that one's pretty simple. And she is a little bit of an egotist, so she calls the team Nitro Jen and the Eum sisters. And Eum is a funny last name, I-U-M, but there's a reason for that. So the first member of the Eum sister team is Lilith Eum, so Lithium. And her power is that basically anybody who's hostile, aggressive, or in the converse, anybody who's basically, let's just say down in the dumps, she can either lift them up or she can level them out. She can bring them down to a more passive sort of existence. So she's kind of got mind control powers, but only when it applies to mood and so on. So that's her. She's kind of the weakest of the Eum sisters, to be honest. The second one is Ruby Dana Eum. So Ruby D Eum. Rubidium, and she has a very interesting power because instead of choosing reactivity to water, for instance, because that's coming up next, I've chosen a very interesting phenomenon that happens when you take a bunch of very weak lasers and you fire them in as many different possible directions as you can at a given elemental cloud, so to speak. You can reduce their speed, their molecular speed, or their atomic speed as close to absolute zero as we've been able to get. So 170 billionths of a degree above absolute zero. And what happens when you do that is that instead of acting as several different atoms, they kind of collapse in on themselves and they become, rather than behaving like a particle, it behaves more like a wave of light. So all of the atoms within that mass are behaving as one, and they're all basically assimilated with each other. So they move in a wave format. And I have to interrupt myself right here to give props to the University of Colorado, who in 1995 were able to prove the Bose-Einstein condensate, which is exactly what I'm talking about here. Previously, it had just been a theoretical physics proposition, and then they were able to prove it using rubidium as the element that they slowed down to pretty much absolute zero. So just thought I'd interrupt myself there. Good work, University of Colorado. So what she does basically is she's able to inhabit the bodies of whoever she wants around her, and they move in the same direction as she wants. If she wants to slap herself in the face to knock some sense into them or whatever, she can do that, because everybody does exactly what she does. Sort of like Multiple Man in a way, except that everybody is moving in the same direction. The next one is Cecilia Eum, and short for Cecilia is Cease. Cease Eum, cesium. And what she is able to do is react explosively with water. So you really don't want to mess with her since you're composed of about 70% water. She's able to just make you, well, she can't make you explode because unfortunately it requires a great amount of her energy to react with your water molecules. So to make you explode, she'd basically kill herself. Her heart would stop from exhaustion. She kind of needs a little bit of backup, so to speak. And that backup comes from Ruthenium, Ruthenium. And instead of going with what you might expect me to go with, there's an isotope, Ruthenium 106. And that's basically like a byproduct of decaying nuclear reactor matter. And there are some fun stories behind that one, but I haven't chosen Ruthenium 106. What I've chosen is Ruthenium's catalytic properties. So basically what she is able to do is she's a catalyst for her sister's powers. So anything that they can do, she can make them do better. She's a catalyst. So they are protecting the city of San Diego, and I've chosen to honor San Diego because Dr. Maria Goeppert-Meyer, back in, I believe, 1963, was the second woman to win a Nobel Prize in physics. And on the headline, it said, San Diego mother wins Nobel Prize. How condescending is that? So I'm choosing to honor San Diego, to honor Goeppert-Meyer, because she's responsible for the nuclear shell model of atomic nuclei, which is essential for so many other things that came out of that. Now, the villain counterpart to them, they're a team that's just called The Sickness. And it's 3 members, so this brings me up to a total of 7 members? 8 members. Whatever. So the villainous counterpart is The Sickness, and the first member of the team is Scarlet Fever. And she does exactly what you would expect, but she does it to the nth degree. It's insane. Like, she can lay a person out, just like Cease can do. So that they're kind of like the 2 most powerful, I guess we'll call them mutants, who clash. The next one is Katherine Atonia. And you can guess the short form, Atonia. And basically she's the counterpart to Lilithium in that she can basically sedate a person and zombify them. And then the last one for that is anaphylaxis. And she has all the symptoms for anaphylaxia. She's able to, make your throat close up. She's able to increase your heart rate by constricting your blood vessels and stuff, and just basically make you feel terrible. So again, she's just able to flatten a person out just by pointing at them. So she's actually terrifying. She's kind of up against the remaining members because obviously Nitro Jen does not want to go up against anaphylaxis because she'll just stop her dead in her tracks. So Fishin Freaks Comics, Road to 100 subscriber contest. There's my entry. It's very last minute. You got some great stuff on your channel, and I will leave the link in your video for my video. All right, thanks for the contest. Bye.